Hey everybody, it's Sherri. I wanted to talk to you guys today about a very important topic, ascension symptoms in children. Yes, a lot of adults are experiencing ascension symptoms right now, but we don't want to forget about our kiddos and also the animals on the planet and our pets. But we're going to talk about specifically children today. I'll do another video on pets later. Children, they are having a rough time right now, just like everyone else. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of depression going on right now because most of the children on the planet are very sensitive and empathic to the energy shifts, and they're very connected to the Schumann resonance of the planet, which is essentially the energetic vibration of the planet that is actually measurable. And when you look, if you measure or if you pay attention rather to the Schumann resonance graphs, you can pinpoint sometimes exactly when your children start to react based on the graphs that you can see on a lot of the websites that publish the Schumann resonance scale. So I want to go over some of the most common symptoms that children are experiencing right now. How do I know this? Again, I work with a lot of children and adults, my clients that I talk to about 12 to 15 every week. So a lot of what I know has to do with the clients that I work with. And so what the symptoms that I'm giving you are the common ones that I personally am seeing with my clients and my own children and other children that I know. And so that's where this information is coming from. It's not an exclusive information. There could be more, a lot more than what I'm saying, but I'm giving you kind of the generalized average or kind of the ones that are the most common right now. So if you are a parent out there and your children are experiencing any of these, perhaps you won't be so worried. Well, let me look at my list. Okay, so number one, dizziness and lightheadedness. This is a common one, doesn't matter the age. And a lot of these, by the way, relate to adults as well, but I'm really focusing on children today. So most of what I'm saying, if you're an adult experiencing these things, yes, it refers to you as well, but I'm really talking about the children today and the youth. So dizziness and lightheadedness. This is very common. Now, remember, a lot of these children are much more high vibrational than most of the adults on planet. These star seeds are coming in, and like I have referred to before, as almost like comets of light coming into to this planet. And so they're high frequency and energetic beings. And so they have a lot of energy flowing through their body at any given moment. A lot of them can't sit still. A lot of them are labeled hyperactive. And this is because they have a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy and vibration. Their body is continuously having to channel this energy and process it. And so one of the symptoms that they're experiencing right now, as we fluctuate with the densities of the planet and each individual person, and the environment right now is very unpredictable. There's a lot of energies around. Children are very sensitive to all of it, whether it's energies of the family in the home, other children at school, if they go to school, or just the environment, just being outside and running errands with their family on the weekend or going to the park. They're just exposed to anything in the environment. They are reacting to it. And one of the ways that they're reacting to this energy is through dizziness, and they can become lightheaded. And they don't necessarily have to be doing any strenuous activity to become lightheaded. They could be laying down in their bed or just watching TV. The other night, my daughter Aramis came downstairs at 9 o'clock at night this past weekend saying she felt lightheaded. And that was several times she has said that. I've worked with a lot of clients whose parents said that their children have complained about dizziness and lightheadedness. And so in that case for her, I just had her sit down next to me on the couch. I did a little bit of energy work on her, and I rubbed her back. And it went away. Now, you don't have to know how to do energy healing. If you're a mom out there saying, well, I don't know how to do energy healing, that's fine. First of all of us know how to do energy healing in some level, in some degree. It's all up here in our wisdom bank, so to speak. So you don't even really know how. You don't even need to be formally trained. You just put your hands on your children and you will do something, even if you don't realize it. But I just kind of let her sit with me, and it passed. So if your child is experiencing dizziness or lightheadedness periodically, and there really is no tangible explanation for it, it's likely that he or she is experiencing an ascension symptom. Now, what is an ascension symptom? Again, maybe I should rewind because there's a lot of confusion about that. as our densities change, as our physical bodies change, as the consciousness changes of individuals and collectively of humanity, there's a lot of adjustments happening. And as more light comes into our bodies, as more light comes into the planet, our physical bodies have to adjust to that extra energy to be in a higher frequency. Some people call it going from carbon to crystalline, but basically at the root, the cause of all of this is a physicality shift. So our human bodies are shifting in order to be able to adapt to the light on the planet and the frequencies shifting higher, and our bodies have to be able to withstand that energy, and it takes some time. Our bodies have to adjust. So it's not going to be an overnight thing where we all wake up and we're upgraded like a video game. It takes time, and as the energy comes through, our body has to adjust certain ways and it reacts to it. And those are the symptoms I'm going to talk about today that I'm seeing in children, and also adults are experiencing them as well. And all that means is that your body, there's a lot of energy coming in, and your body is like, oh my gosh, and it has to figure out how to channel that energy within the body systems, the organs, and the chakras, and the energy body, the energy layers. So it's a process, and it can take some time, can be very intensive at times too. These children may experience ascension symptoms for a short period of time, and then they seem to be okay, and then they plateau a little bit, and then maybe weeks later they have some more. Others may experience it every day intensely for months, and some may experience little tiny peaks of it, and maybe you're not even aware of it, or they don't tell you about it, and then they go away. So it's not a universal thing, in the sense that every child, just like every human being on this planet, is unique. And so we respond differently to things. So it's really hard for anyone to say that everybody will have this happen to them, because that's just not possible. So the children will have their own variation of these symptoms. Dizziness and lightheaded happens to be one of the most common right now. So try to just sit them down, have them relax, give them some water, maybe have them take a little bit of a break from the electronics if they're doing that a lot. If they're on their electronics, their tablets a lot, playing a lot of video games. If they're running around outside a lot and they say that they're dizzy, then just have them sit down and take a break. Breathing is my favorite for every single thing I'm going to tell you today. Breathing is going to be one of the remedies, because mindful breathing is our body's natural way to take us from the sympathetic fight or flight, adrenaline-based mode, anxiety, worry mode, to more peace and calm and balance. That's how our bodies balance itself out, is through our breath, which I've talked about a bajillion times in every video I've done, practically in all of my books. And so breathing, just have them sit down. And for children, I like to make it simple. 5 deep breaths. That's what I say. Breathe, and you breathe in with them. Take a deep breath, hold it, release 5 times. And you can count. Then you say number 2. Breathe in, hold it, exhale 5 times. After 5, you ask them, are you feeling a little bit better? If they say yes, great. If they say no, okay, 5 more breaths. We do it together, and we're not hyperventilating. You know, my daughter, I've said this before, but she likes to rush through her breaths because she knows what I'm saying, and sometimes she doesn't want to listen to me. So I tell her to do her 5 breaths, and she goes, and I say, Aramis, start all over. Let's do it again. And we have to start, and then she slows down. Hyperventilation does not work. There are breathing techniques that use hyperventilation, but in this case, that's not what I'm recommending. Slow, long exhales, okay? Stomach aches. This is a huge one. A lot of them are getting stomach aches, and it has nothing to do with the food that they ate. They didn't eat too much candy. They didn't overeat their dinner, and they don't have to go to the bathroom. This is separate in of all of that, and it has to do with nervous energy. And what I mean by that is because there's so much fluctuation of environmental energy around them, they are internalizing that. It's coming into their energy field because they don't quite know how to block it yet. They don't know how to place boundaries around themselves. So they are vulnerable to the energy shifts from their parents, from their neighbors, and just the environment, from classmates, all of the above. And so that energy comes into their body. Maybe there's a lot of anger or fear or worry energy that's just around them in the environment. And then that comes into their body, and then suddenly they have a stomach ache. And if you ask them, a lot of times what it feels like, or the best way they can describe it, is butterflies. Like they have this nervous feeling where like They're not sure if everything's going to be okay. They have this worry feeling in their tummy. That's right through the solar plexus right there. Okay, so a lot of children are having stomach aches right now with no real explanation of why. And this is it, because the energy is too much and it's causing them to feel unsettled and not safe and worried without a true conscious reason to be worried. They don't know about all the intricacies of what's happening in the planet. Maybe the older ones do, and maybe some in some households do, because the parents are very open and honest about things that are happening in current events. But for the most part, children of a younger age really don't know what's going on. So then they get worried even more because they don't know why they have a stomach ache. My daughter wakes up with a stomach ache literally every single day. Every single morning, she's worried about something, and I have to talk her down, talk her off the cliff, have her breathe and relax. And now she knows. She goes, "Mommy, I must be nervous about something." Sometimes she does have to go to the bathroom. So we want to discount the other things, like I said, stomach aches from eating too much candy or junk food, this and that. But for the most part, they'll be able to eventually identify why they're having the stomach ache. My best advice for that is, after breathing, have them lay down on a heating pad, a biomat. I'll go over some of these other remedies a little bit later in this video, but I just want to go through the symptoms first. So stomach aches, big one. Okay. Dehydration is another one. When you have a lot of energy going through your body is working, it's processing, and there's a lot of things happening, and this can dehydrate your body. And a lot of energy workers will talk about this when you go to see an energy healer, for instance, and you at the end of your treatment, they'll tell you, okay, we'll drink a lot of water today, because this can cause some dehydration in your body. And that's because healing can be instant, really. We can do a lot in a healing session of 30 minutes, but then what happens is we have manipulated the energy and removed blockages and open up the chakras and all of these amazing things. But then the body itself has to take that and respond and process and release. And we release through tears. So a lot of crying. Crying is good sometimes. Stop telling your children not to cry all the time, because sometimes crying is a great release, and they don't know how to release other than they start to cry. Sweating, breath, and any excrements of the body. Those are the main ways that we can get a lot of that energy out. And also through our voice. Sometimes we need to scream it out, put your head in a pillow and scream really loud. Anything to get that energy out, so we don't have trapped emotions in our body. But the dehydration is a result of all of that energy and that processing and the work that your body has to do. So drink right now. I've been drinking so much water, and I think I just follow whatever my body tells me to do. I don't drink water because I feel like I have to drink water. I just continuously feel thirsty. So I'm drinking as much water as possible because I know my body is doing a lot of work right now. So our children need to drink more water, as much water as possible. And the better water you can give them, obviously non-fluoride water that you can get is going to be best for them. Nosebleeds. Nosebleeds are a big one. My daughter gets them all the time, and they are gushers. I mean, all of a sudden she's like me, and then next thing you know, it's like a horror movie, blood everywhere. The third eye and the crown chakra are very open right now with a lot of the children. Their pineal gland is activated. And so what that means is that there's tons of energy coming through, and it's going to come out through the nose, the mouth, the ears. So there's a lot of energy going on right here, a lot for the children especially. And so when you have a lot of activation, and the pineal is open, and there's lots of energy flowing, and the third eye is active, that heightened energy can cause these acute nosebleeds. Excuse me. And they're very scary, but they don't last long generally. They'll last a couple of minutes. We'll fill a bucket of tissues, and then we go on with our life. And I try not to scare my daughter about it. She knows now that it's not a big deal, and they go away just as fast as they come. But this is a huge sign of the energy coming from the third eye. And sometimes your children might say, "My nose is tingly or tickles." That's another sign that your third eye is open and active. There's a lot of energy pulsating out, and what happens is it almost feels like a trickle or a tickle, like a energy, like a, like a breeze coming out and going in, and it tickles the top of your nose. This is for adults too. This happens to me quite a lot as well. So you're feeling like you got to scratch your nose, like there's some energy blowing on it. That's another sign of active third eye. And ear ringing, another one. So all of this entire system. So the ears will ring, the nose will bleed. Sometimes even they'll have heightened allergies. So this whole system can become out of whack if there's too much energy flow. So they'll be have more allergies, stuffy nose, runny nose, bloody nose, ringing in the ears. Sometimes they can have, my son used to get, actually both of my sons would get swollen ears. I mean, the ear would be like 3 times the size and it would be completely red and puffy, like an almost like a bug bite that swelled up the ear. And I have taken them both to the doctor so many times, and they said, Sherri, I don't know what this is. Nobody could ever figure it out. This was years ago, and now I know it's energy. And it would always be on one side. It was never both. And they didn't have an ear infection or anything else going on. Again, there's a lot of energy coming in and out of these exit points in the body. And so that is another Ascension symptom sign, especially right now. So try not to worry too much about it. Restlessness and agitation. This is a big one because of the fact of all the things I've already mentioned with the heightened energy and the influx and all of this environmental upheaval and fear and anxiety in the planet and the environment, and also their peers. A lot of their friends in school could be afraid and could be worried, and some of them still might be, covered up because their parents are having them do that. And so the children are confused and wondering why they're doing it and they're not, and all sorts of thoughts that these children are trying to figure things out just like everyone else. And so they're as well as the energy that they're feeling, if they're sensitive to it, which most are, they become agitated and restless. They feel like they can't sit still, or they just seem on edge, and that's because they don't understand why. Because a lot of us take on anger and worry and resentment and whatever else from the environment that's not even our own. So I would say a good 70+% of the population is walking around right now feeling upset or worried or scared or sad about something that has absolutely nothing to do with them. They just took on, they absorbed the energy from the planet, or the environment rather, from other people that have just walked by, and they don't even realize that they're carrying that burden, and it's not theirs. So I teach people to muscle test to figure out, is this energy actually mine or is this someone else's? Because sometimes it's helpful to know. If it's not someone else's, it's much easier to remove someone else's junk than it is your own. It's easy to get rid of it. You breathe through it. There's a variety of different things you can do. But the children, when they don't know or they don't understand what's happening, they become agitated and just they get worried, or maybe they start showing behavioral signs. The best way to handle these sorts of things is not to get mad at them, not to put them in timeout, not to scream at them. Now, of course, if they're being disrespectful and they take it kind of on the severe side of things, some discipline is obviously going to be needed. But I would recommend more compassion, love, give them hugs, tell them how much you love them, tell them how much you appreciate them. That's what we need most right now, adults too. We need compassion and empathy and understanding of everybody is on their own path, in their own car, their own speed, trying to go through this ascension, trying to go through their spiritual awakening, trying to figure things out. Some people woke up yesterday, some people are still asleep, some people woke up recently, and some people woke up 30 years ago, and they're like, thank God people are finally catching up. Everybody is in their own speed and their own time frame, and no right or wrong. There's no winners. Okay, everybody is on the same level. We're just trying to figure it out in different time frames. So the children they really need to feel that they're supported right now, and they don't actually know what's going on. So they're just as confused. So if they're getting in trouble for something that they don't even understand why they're doing it, it really just makes the situation worse, brings their vibration down more, and then it will cause these acute symptoms to become worse. So redirect them. If they seem to be agitated, say, gosh, I'll use my daughter or my son, Skylar, I see that you're a little bit agitated. Are you okay? You don't always have to have the solution. Sometimes people just want to know that you understand, or you recognize, man, you're having a rough time right now. I don't know if I have the answer for you, but let me see if I can help you in some way. Would you like that? Sometimes people don't want help. And so you just have to gauge. And every child, I have 3 children that they're completely different. So it's taken me a long time to figure out when I'm working with which one, how I talk, what I say, and what I recommend, because they're very different. And that takes a lot of effort on my part. And it's taken me years of things, trial and error, that I finally figured out for the most part. I still have some ways to go, but we're ever changing. I'm 40, almost 41 years old, and I'm still changing who I am. So how can I expect my 7, 9, and 17-year-old for me to have mastered them? They haven't even mastered themselves, and they may not well into their adult years. So what I'm trying to say is that you're changing, allow your children to change and be flexible and be nurturing for them right now, especially when they're in a younger body and in a younger mindset. Now their wisdom could be much higher, and they could be way more advanced consciously, but they are in a young physical body in this avatar, in this planet, with a younger consciousness that may not be able to tap into that higher wisdom just yet. So they're confused and they haven't quite figured it out, and they don't know how to react or respond. Whereas someone older may have more tools or may have more patience and understanding. So we need to provide that support and guidance for them right now too. So if they're having those agitation moments, ask them if they want to go outside. Ask them if they want to read a book. Whatever you can do, because every child is different. So it's reading a book for some may work and some other may not work. Going outside may be a great idea for some, and others may not like that. So I can't give you the exact formula, but your children for the most part. So whatever it is that you can do to redirect their energy someplace else or help them channel it. Maybe they need to run around for a little bit and get that energy out. Sometimes it boils up to a point and they don't know how to release it. The pot's boiling and the top is on, and they're about to explode. So they react behaviorally, screaming, tantrums, kicking, screaming, throwing, yelling at their sister or brother, being mean to mom and dad, talking back, being stubborn. And maybe you just need to take the lid off the pot and let the steam come out a little bit. So give them something to do to release that energy. Run around outside, and you do it with them. Don't say get outside and run. Get off the couch and go with them if you can. Have them play with the pets, things like that. Or maybe if they're artists, say, hey, maybe we could draw together. Do you want to draw something, cartoon or color, and help them get it out that way? Everyone gets it out in their own way. So you'll have to figure out what works for your child. Okay, what else? So I think those were the main ones increased appetite and or decreased appetite. So this is a fun one. So some children are feeling like extremely hungry. They need to eat a lot. And I have a bunch of clients that are anywhere from a couple of years old to their early 20s. And they feel like they need to eat, almost like they get those hypoglycemic symptoms where their blood sugar gets low, and then they feel like they need to eat, or they're going to feel sick or dizzy, or they feel weak or lightheaded, and they have to eat something. So I recommend giving them healthy snacks, fruits, vegetables, some healthy crackers, whatever it is that they can eat, nuts, things that are going to provide energy and maybe fill them up, but they're not bad. So don't give them chips, candy for sure, cookies, sweets, the wrong thing to do. Right now, I actually recommend that you reduce the sugar as much as possible. Right now, refined sugar, I've talked about this a lot. Children are not doing well with sugar right now because their bodies are too high vibrational. And sugar brings the body down in vibration. So cookies, candy, ice cream, all the junk food, all the processed stuff in the middle of the grocery store aisles, bad for your children. They really, really cause behavioral issues. I mean, you name it. I did a whole video on that. So limiting that and giving them nourishing foods. Some of them are actually feeling like they don't want to eat and they're not hungry. Do not worry. Your child is not going to starve themselves, I promise you. So if they're feeling like they don't want to eat, do not force them to eat, because their body is telling them, and this is what we need to do. This is where we're going. We're in the future, or the near future and into the future. We are going to eat 2/3 less food, more water, and half of the junk that we eat right now will be gone. And so, and our diets are going to change. Now, there is no one diet that works for everybody. And I've talked about this a bunch. Not everybody can be vegan. Not everyone can be vegetarian. Some people actually need meat. Everybody's body is different. It's called intuitive eating. So you need to recognize when you put food in your mouth, how your body responds. Do you get really lethargic? Do you feel tired? Does your stomach hurt? Do you feel agitated after? Do you feel bloated? Or do you feel energized and uplifted and nourished? That this is unique for everybody and a very individual thing. That's what intuitive eating means, that there is no one diet for everybody. Not everybody can do the keto or all these fad diets, because everybody on this planet is different. And it does have a lot to do with your genetics, your blood type. You know, oh, I'm an O blood type. So I do crave meat, and I still eat meat. I try to eat less meat, and I eat more lean, healthy meats. But if I don't eat meat, I feel I feel like I don't have a lot of energy. And so there are a lot of people like me. But then there are a lot of people who do exceptionally well on a vegan diet. There are children that come out of the womb and refuse to eat meat from the time that they're born. I would say half of my children clients are vegetarians by choice. Their moms and dads say that they will literally refuse meat, or they've tried it, they spit it out, they won't eat it. And that's intuitive eating. They know what they like, what they don't like. Some do really well with vegetables and some don't. Some do really well with fruits and some don't. So the intuitive eating is about following what your body tells you. And it's harder to be a parent with a young child because they can't always tell you, but you could take subtle cues to figure out what is helping them and what isn't. And it's a trial and error process. I will tell you right now, the things that are causing the most trouble with children are dairy. We're not meant to have milk all the time. Big lie, big fat lie. Don't need to, I never gave my children that much milk. And so especially cow's milk, our bodies are not designed to digest it very well. Now, there could be many children out there that do fine with dairy, and they say, Sherri, my child loves dairy and they don't have any issues. Okay, great. Good for your child. That's wonderful. But a lot of people can't have dairy, and a lot of my clients' children are reacting to dairy right now. So they eliminate dairy, and there are a lot of great alternatives. I'm not a big fan of soy milk because of all of the genetically modified junk that the New Age movement started, and then the nefarious ones said, "Oh, let's take advantage of this and poison everybody and put hormones in it." So that's my opinion, not fact. My opinion. Oat milk is good. There's a lot of nut milks. So find something that's good for you. And if you don't have milk at all, then don't have milk. Water is wonderful, by the way. We don't need to drink anything other than water. Now, I love my coffee, but children shouldn't be drinking coffee. So again, this is about the children. What else? So intuitive eating, eating less foods. They won't starve themselves. We are going to go into a more of a whole, natural, intuitive type of diet system moving forward. And it's going to take time. So over generations of intuitive eating, who knows what it's going to look like 20, 30 years from now? Maybe only 10% of the population will still be eating meat at that point. I talked about that, where we're going to reduce the amount of meat consumption in the planet over time. And I think that's because people are going to follow that intuitive eating, and then they may not want to eat meat, but some people may always want to eat meat. And so let's just see how humanity adapts over time with all of these changes with our body. But I'm telling you, moving forward, there is no book, there is no person, including myself. There is no savior. There is no guru. And those people online saying that they're this wonderful guru and you should listen to them, please turn the camera off and run the other direction. Those are the people you don't want to listen to. Because they'll tell you as many truths as they can, as long as they can stick in a lie, and now they've got your trust, and then they manipulate you. So anybody telling you that you have to do anything with certainty, those are the people that you don't want to listen to. I always give you things from my point of view, from my experience, and things that I do and I recommend, but may not be for everybody, and that's fine. But as we shift in this ascension process, my biggest advice that I can give for parents, adults, anybody without children and children, is finding our individual power. We need to reconnect with our soul and allow the life force energy in. So teach your children from a young age to trust their gut, to listen to their intuition. And the way we do that is stop putting them in situations that challenge that, meaning putting them in public school systems where the teachers are constantly telling them they're wrong, or they have to do it this way, or what if they do it the way that they're doing, it's not correct. And that is the first step to disconnecting one's consciousness or intuition. And then over time, you chip away at that empowerment, that confidence that children have. And then they grow up and they don't trust themselves. And there are many people out there watching this that are adults saying, yeah, man, I don't trust myself. I wish I had done things differently. And even me and where I am and all the life lessons I've learned in hindsight, I wish I could go back. I would change so many things. But of course, we could have the argument that it shapes you. And some experiences are helpful because it helps shape who you are and who you become. And the person that wisdom comes through. Absolutely. But if we could give our children a starting chance, or what's the word I'm trying to think of? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's give them a heads, darn it, I can't think of the word. Let's give them a head start. See, I can't remember anything these days. Let's give them a head start. Let's teach them from a young age that they are sovereign beings, that are powerful, that they are capable, that they are all-knowing and they can make decisions. Teach them from a young age that they can heal themselves. Teach them about energy. Teach them about their soul. Teach them about life force energy. Teach them all of these things. Teach them discernment. Teach them how to channel their emotions. And we are humans and we're here to have a human experience. So if we get angry, it's okay. That is part of being a human being. And it's all about being mindful. Okay, I'm angry. What does this feel like? Why am I angry? Okay, now I make the choice to let it go and process it and move forward. That's what a fifth density and higher being is capable of doing. You don't absorb yourself, saturate yourself in those emotions of low vibration. You move on from them. You keep going. You don't look back. We live in right now where we have too many people thinking about the past and worrying about things that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago. We got to live in the present moment and manifest our future of positivity, unity, oneness, get back to that Lemurian way, what I've been talking about for quite some time now. We need to get back to that way of living before everything, shit the bed, excuse my language. Okay, I went off topic, sorry. So what are some things that we can do to help? Get your children outside, go outside. If you live by a river, lake, stream, forest, ocean, mountains, desert, go outside. We need to have our children go back outside. When I was young, I left out, I would be out all day and I didn't come home till sundown. We would be playing in the creeks, in the sewer systems. I mean, gross, right? We were all over the place. We had our bikes. We didn't have cell phones. And we had no way of getting in touch with our mom. And if we fell and hurt ourselves, you rinse it off with the creek water and you keep going. That's what we did. And the children today are having a different experience. Now, of course, we evolve and things change. And I'm not saying that they have to have the exact experience that we did, because we are evolving and we have more technology and life is different. But we need to reconnect the children with nature. So teach them about crystals, go outside, even if it's in the backyard, front yard. If it's freezing outside and it's wintertime for you, bundle up and try to go out on the days that have a little bit more sun, play in the snow, whatever you can to get them back outside. If you can't go outside or you're in an area that's raining a lot, whatever, try biomats. I'm a big fan of biomats. They are a little bit expensive, but I've been using them for about a decade now. And I finally just got myself one because they're quite expensive, but I use it almost every single day. And I intend to have them in the learning centers that I'm creating for children in the health unit, where we'll have them on all of the Reiki beds where they have a tummy ache or they're not feeling well. They can lay on a heated biomat for a certain period of time. You can get the mini ones. I recommend I don't get any money off of this. So I'm not saying I'm not going to get any commission. So I'm just telling you what I use. The brand that's actually called Biomat. There are a lot of knockoffs, but they have crystals inside. They have amethyst and black tourmaline are the most commonly used crystals. And the crystals get activated, they heat up. And the warmth feels great, of course, but it does a lot more. It can It can regulate your vibration, can move blockages around. It's a balancer. It's incredible what it can do. And it can help children with backaches, stomach aches, and they don't have to have any aches or pains. They can just lay on it for 20 minutes, 15 minutes in the evening before they go to bed. It'll help them sleep better. I highly recommend every family has one. There are also cheaper grounding mats that you can buy online. Just make sure you buy a good one. Don't get anything cheap. You get what you pay for. What else? Water, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, like we talked about. Reduce electronics if you can. Crystals, love, love and laughter. You know, my daughter's favorite thing is to have a dance party. We turn the music up loud and we dance in the living room like no one's watching us. Thank God, because I don't want anyone to see me looking like that. But we dance and we get silly and we sing. And we laugh, we play with our pets, our dog, and the cat gets involved. You know, have fun with your families. A lot of the children say that, you know, they came in because the adults are too serious. And we need to get back to joy and laughter and taking moments out of the day to laugh and really enjoy ourselves and our family. If you live alone and you don't have anyone around, you can watch a funny movie. You can have your own dance party. You can sit in the living room and sing and dance or paint. Do something that brings you joy. Cuddle on the couch with your cat or dog or hamster, whatever you have. That's going to help right now. We need love, joy, happiness, redirection. Adults can redirect just like children. Stop watching the news. If you're around toxic people or family members, either kick them out of your life if you can, or disconnect, or create boundaries. You know, I don't engage. That's my favorite thing to tell people. Don't engage. Don't argue with them. You're not in a situation where you need to convince anybody of anything. And I live by that. And I've said that as long as I can remember. I have said that for decades. I'm not in the business of convincing anybody of anything. I believe what I believe. If it resonates with you, great. You want to talk about it, great. But I'm not going to get in a debate with somebody about it. It's just going to lower my vibration and I'm not interested. So if you resonate with the things that I say and you find it helpful, then continue listening. And thank you for listening. And I'm glad it's helping. But if it's not, then turn the channel off and watch somebody else and find somebody that you really resonate with. There are a million people out in the world, a billion people in the world, and I'm sure that you'll find your tribe and your person. Until you find it, keep looking. But I really recommend the best medicine right now for the children and the adults is going inward. Have a relationship with yourself. Look in the mirror, and which is hard for me to do. So I've done it, and it's awkward. And I think about all the things on my body that I wish were different, and then I have to say, stop it. That's not what this exercise is about. It's about self-love. It's about having compassion and forgiveness for yourself and saying, I am worthy of everything and all positive experiences that are for my highest good. Teach your children that they are deserving, that they are worthy of love, friendships, happiness and joy. Teach them that from a young age. And I promise you, in a generation's time away or less, we will have more well-adjusted, balanced, loving, kind, compassionate people on this planet. And then by the time those children have those adults have children, and then we keep going, we will have a completely different humanity. We will have transformed into a completely new reality. But it starts right now. And it starts with everyone on the planet shifting their thoughts, connecting with their inner knowing. You are powerful. I'm powerful. You're powerful. I'm not better than anyone. You're not better than anyone. We're all just in our own vehicles and our own avatars trying to figure this earth thing out. And we can do that in a variety of different ways. We can do it from ego and judgment and competition and material things and all of that. You can play that game and you go to the best universities, and you parents watching this, you can send your child to those Ivy League schools and you can make them go into those jobs where they're going to be the best at something, and they're going to have the best paying jobs, and they're going to be elite of the elite, and they're going to have this amazing life in your mind. You can do that, or you can follow another path where you allow your children to be who they are. And maybe they don't go to college, and maybe they follow a path where they are truly happy and joyful and thriving because they absolutely are passionate about what they're doing, and they weren't made to be there, and they're not in the system, and they are free, sovereign beings to do anything that they want with their life. It's your choice. So hopefully this was helpful for you today. I think I forgot. I mean, I don't think I forgot anything. I'm sure I forgot. I always forget something, but I'll just do another video later. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I will talk to all of you again very soon. Okay, bye.